puts us at 82, 49, and 8 on the season, hitting at a 62.5% clip.
Back-to-back golden boots. That's 3 in a row for me. 3 too, man. Like, not a dime. That's called being for the people.
It's over! The Columbus Crew, 2023 MLS Cup champions!
Alrighty, here we go. We are back at it on Sports Prophet TV. This is the MLS Live podcast. I am Cooper, as always. With me is my co-host Garrett at JSomeFooty on Twitter. Yeah, there's a lot going on today. We got Copa going on. Had some Euros this morning. Obviously, last weekend, another profitable weekend of MLS action, going for 3 straight. Still doing very well on the season as a whole. Real quick before we get into it, just because I was about to ask you before we jumped on here, did you watch the first half of this Argentina game?
No, I did not.
Okay, all right. I was going to ask you if you think that they end up getting this done.
I think they do, but I looked at that game, I was like, that's Brazil vibes. Like, these teams are just sitting back in this group play. So.
Yeah, the South American style has overtaken the fun that was, CONCACAF, I guess, when they, with the merger. But anyway, so yeah, let's talk about it. Good week last week, 3-2, pretty profitable because of some plus money wins. And we talked about it last week on Twitter. I made a post, almost $3 of closing line value. And look, closing line value doesn't win bets, but it sure as hell saves you a lot of money on losses, right? And that's exactly what happened last week. Only 2 losses of the show were Minnesota United, which we sent out at -118. That closed around -155, -160. And then LA Galaxy, RSL, both teams to score an over 2.5. Sent that one out at -125 Wednesday night on the show. That closed at like -200, -210, depending on the book. So, massive CLV across the board. And that's when it counts. It counts because you're not going to win every bet. So that's what it's there for. That's why you get in. Those of you that watch the show live, obviously, we love anybody that watches the show. One of our guys actually DM'd in today. He's like, I can't watch it today, but I'm definitely going to watch it on the replay. So we appreciate all the views. Make sure you guys, just in case Twitter acts up or something, Twitter's been crazy at times. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and it will notify you when we're going live. It'll pop up. It'll send you a notification. If you like getting in early on these, if you like watching the show live, jumping in the chat, all that good stuff, make sure you subscribe and make sure that you've liked the video as well. But
it's part of the reason why we do this show on a Tuesday or Wednesday.
It's the main reason.
We're taking these lines early, and they're like, a lot of them do move. Like you touched on it, CLV doesn't win the bet, but like that's half the battle, right? Is like either losing less than you would normally lose or winning more than you would normally win. That is one of the many steps it takes to be profitable.
Oh yeah, no, it's huge. And at the end of the year, when you go back and look, if we did this show Friday night or even Thursday night sometimes, but especially Friday night or game day, once lines have moved, you're talking about a ridiculous difference in the bottom line number of profit and loss on the season. So, anyways, into that little rant, but appreciate anybody that does tune in early, and you will reap the benefits. So it's not just about the live viewership or anything like that. It's something that you will definitely get good stuff out of. So alrighty, let's get on to it then. You may have seen Garrett mention on Twitter, this has been this might be one of, if not his favorite slates of the season. A lot of similar looks for me in my notes as well. So I'll kind of pitch in on some spots that I agree with and give the old stamp on. But yeah, tee us up here. Let's get after it.
So yeah, I think Dallas is fun. now with the coach gone. In
Love
3
it.
games since the coach was let go, they are averaging 3 goals for a game. Musa has 4 goals. Ferreira has 2 goals over that span. Legit has 3 assists. The offense just looks so much better. They don't look constricted. It's flowing. It's free. And yeah, man, they got we wanted to see Musa unleashed. We knew the dude had talent. We spent money for him, and they just kept that offense bottled up for too much this season. So they look good in attack. And then now they get to host a Cincinnati side that has conceded 2+ in each of their last 5, including to teams like Nashville and New England. So not great attacks, right? My big attacking point here is that Cincinnati is down 2 of their 3 starting center backs and international team. Miazga, he's scheduled to have surgery. And then Hagland, one of the depth pieces, broke his femur last game. So a team that typically plays 3 center backs in the back is down bad in terms of center back depth right now. So yeah, I just think this is a fantastic value spot for me. So I'm going to hit Dallas team total over 1.5 at +130. Start the show off with the plus money play here. Now, I'm only keeping this to 1 unit because it's going to be scorching hot across Texas this weekend. Like 98 to 102 in places. That's like the average temperature. So I'm going to keep it to 1 unit. I'm not fretting too much. Dallas plays in this heat a lot. And like I said, since he's just hurting bad at the back. So yeah, I'm going to fire on this for +130.
Yeah, I mean, if either of these teams are acclimated whatsoever to the heat, it would be Dallas, and they like you just mentioned. So I do think it's value. To me, this is a value play, win or lose. You just play it because of the price tag and because of all the injuries. I mean, those are substantial, significant defensive injuries for Cincinnati, and we saw it last week too with Cincinnati conceding 2 at home to the Revs.
And that was before the red card.
Yeah, that was before the red. So, but yeah, Dallas, they're a lot more fun right now, no doubt about it. I've been calling for a coaching change for, over a year last season, and then definitely into this season. I was like, man, something's got to change. This Nico guy's got to either change some things up, or they got to make a change, and that's what they've done. So you can see it; they're having more fun. Scored 5 goals. That's nuts. It was the first time all year I watched the end of that game. Musa did not look frustrated, and he has looked frustrated every single game this year. At least for part of the game, he has looked extremely frustrated. So that's a big weight off of his shoulders. He's finally pouring them in. It's looking more how we expected this attack to look with Musa being involved. Love the price here. That's a huge part of this play for me, is the price. And there's another one, probably gonna move. Probably gonna get some CLV on this one as well.
It's already moved 20 cents from when it opened. I take these lines as close to the show as possible, so that way you're getting a similar line. It's not fun if I post Dallas team total at +150 because I took it Sunday night, and now it's at +130. Like, that's not fun. So this is the line I'm on. It's +130. You should be able to get around this line right now. But yeah, I expect this to keep creeping down as more and more people start tuning in to what's going on with Cincinnati.
Love it. All right, on to the next. Let's keep it rolling. All right, New York Red Bull hosting DC United, who is going to be without Benteke. That's a huge deal. I mean, I don't think that can be overstated, to be honest. I know you posted Red Bull in some form or fashion early in the week, and the line has moved. I am going to be on the under here. I think this total without Benteke is too high. Red Bull, obviously, they're missing Forsberg. Lewis Morgan, he's still missing. He shouldn't be back for this one. Would you expect him back? Because Scotland didn't make it through, did they?
No, I don't think he'll be back for this one, but he didn't play a ton. I mean, maybe a bench spot.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, look, this Red Bull team is still good, even without those guys. Clearly not the same team though with them, and those are attacking guys. I mean, we've talked about the impact of Forsberg and what a difference he's made in the attack. Just totally night and day. They needed somebody like that for a long time, but he won't be here for this one. And Red Bull at home. They're fantastic defensively. This team has been top 5 defensive teams in MLS 3 years running. That defensive core is still there. And again, DC United, we've already seen them kind of be a little bit more conservative on the road with their tactics. I have stated before publicly, if you want to back this DC United team to score some goals, maybe a team total, dabble in a side, back them at home because they will let it rip at home. On the road, not so much. And then you throw in, obviously, which is the biggest aspect here, no Benteke. The entire attack has revolved around getting crosses in so he can win in the air and get his head on the ball. And like that's been the entire – it's been ridiculous, but he won't be here for this one because of the red card. So to me, I see this as like a comfortable 2-0 win. And when I say comfortable, Red Bull can make this look like they can make it look like they're up by 5 goals when they're up 2 goals because of how good they are defensively and how good they are at sitting on leads and just salting games away. That's something that this team is really, they really excel at that. So I think that, even if Red Bull does knock one in early here, I don't think it gets crazy out of hand with some of the attacking pieces that they're missing, especially if they rotate in some backup attackers. So yeah, I think that this total is probably a touch too high considering the pieces missing, and even some of the tactics here.
I think the total is way too high. I took Red Bull's money line just because I knew it was going to get away from us before the show. So I think I posted that Sunday night or Monday morning, somewhere around there at like -140. We're past -200 now. But I don't think this game is going to be necessarily easy for the Red Bulls. I don't think Forsberg's back yet. Edelman is suspended. Frankie Amaya just got sold to Toluca. Stroud is still hurt. So that midfield is going to be very thin for this game. However, yeah, I'm down to fade DC on the road. Could be looking at a 1-0, maybe a 2-0 type game. I don't think, like I said, I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park. But with all those pieces missing, I think there will be some dysfunction on the Red Bull side too. We know DC United is going to look dysfunctional being on the road and without Benteke. So no, this under 3 is a really, really good price in my opinion.
Sweet. Love to hear that. All righty. Let's keep it moving then, because we have 3 2-unit wagers on the show today. And that's a big deal. If you follow the show for any amount of time, you know how we treat multi-unit plays. We're very selective. 2-unit wagers are 5-2 so far on the season. So let's get into one.
Yeah. So this is one of my favorite slates for a reason. I've got the 3 2-units coming down the pipe. We're going to start with one that is a pretty popular play here on the show with LA Galaxy team total. It's going to be over 1.5, and you can get it at -120 right now, depending on your book. But San Jose is an absolute mess. They 100% need to turn to the 19-year-old Emmanuel Ochoa in goal. He's highly rated. San Jose's turned down multiple offers from Liga MX teams for him. He's a Mexican U.S. dual national, so he's having to pick between which national side he wants to represent. But Yarbrough and Jackson are beyond atrocious. Daniel is still hurt. Lucci wasn't going to turn, that's the coach, wasn't going to turn to a 19-year-old with his job on the line. But he's been fired now, so there's no reason not to. If they don't, okay, fine. Give me Yarbrough or Jackson. I will take shots on them all day long. But if they do, I don't know if I'm 19, even if I'm highly touted, I don't know if the Galaxy are like one of the first attacks I want to see you know, in MLS. Like that's pretty daunting. So you probably still have no Puig for Galaxy, but Paintsil, Peck, and Jovic are more than enough with Fagundes distributing the ball. But because of the coaching change, I'm only going to keep this to 2 units. If it was still Lucci coaching, this would be a 3-unit play, and I wouldn't blink. I do believe in a little bit of that, you know, new manager bump, so to speak. So I'll keep it to 2 units, as I still believe Galaxy should have a great chance at netting 2 here.
No doubt about it. This is one I will be on as well. So this is one I am stamping, co-signing right now, in a pretty big way. Added bonus here: this game will be played at Stanford Stadium on the campus of Stanford. That's why I put the picture there. This is essentially going to feel more like an LA Galaxy home game. As even though San Jose is they're technically listed as the home side here, the comparison of the fan bases it's no comparison, right? So I mean, this will be probably 80% LA Galaxy fans on the campus of Stanford, and who doesn't want to show out in a showcase game? This is a showcase game when you play a neutral site. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this was like the Fox game or something like that, just because they have historically done these neutral site games, you know, as kind of the headliner of the slate. I'm right there with you on this one. Definitely at least for 1 unit. And if I'm going to do 2 units as well, I probably am going to have to make that decision tonight because this will move. And I also don't know if everybody realizes that this game is not being played at San Jose.
I would say that none of your casual fans know.
Yeah. Right on. Love it. All right. On to the next. Love that play. I am taking a stab here at one that I'm not super comfortable about, but this is a spot play. This is a gut play for me. Haven't backed this team as much as maybe I thought I was going into the season, because they've been a little bit disappointing. But I'm going to pay a little juice here. I'm going to take Vancouver's team total over 1.5. Vancouver is going to be missing some key midfielders. Kubas is obviously playing in Copa America, and Schopf, I think, got a red card last game. So midfield,
yeah, he's suspended.
Yeah, so definitely thin in the midfield. This is why I'm not backing them in the sides market, even though this is a weird one because of the absentees. But, dude, St. Louis City they're sliding. And with the injuries that they've got, they're down at least 2 key defenders due to injuries. I'm not even mentioning, you know, some of the injuries that they've been dealing with in attack and in the attacking midfield and stuff. But defensively, they're down two key guys. And Vancouver's attack is pretty much intact for the most part. This to me is just a pure spot play because we're talking about a St. Louis team that's banged up. We know what style of soccer they play. They play the high energy stuff. Man, you don't want to be banged up playing that and have a couple pieces here and there that aren't going to fit right. Because if you're a team that can break the press and you're down 2 key defenders and, you know, maybe even a midfielder on the road, you're going to be in trouble. And that's what I think is going to happen here. I'm going to use the West Coast advantage on our side here because Vancouver has used that very well for years. I'm not saying that I'm in love with Vancouver by any means because they've been a little bit disappointing this year, but this is a spot play. If I've ever seen one, I think it's going to take a lot out of St. Louis. Just a gritty performance for this not to come through, and maybe just a total dud for Vancouver. But I think Vancouver gets it done here at home. Vancouver team total over 1.5.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I'm down fading St. Louis. The the thin midfield for Vancouver does bother me because goals are created in midfield, right? Like they're finished by your guys up top, but
Yeah.
all that starts through the midfield. What I want to do is buy as much Ryan Gauld stock as I can. This guy in his last 5 games has 5 goals and 2 assists. Like the man is cooking right now. So I'm down with the team total. The juice isn't pleasant, but I get why you're playing it. I get why the juice is the juice with St. Louis doing what they're doing right now. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be hunting for some kind of prop with Ryan Gauld that I can use because he is on fire right now.
Yeah, and that's a good look as well. But yeah, I mean, this is one of those that's it's not the most comfortable play. It's not one that all the stats necessarily back up. It's just a spot play, and we know how powerful. I mean, dude, the West Coast advantage. I cannot overstate that. It's really substantial when you got a team that's sliding and they're banged up and they're dealing with with travel and as compressed as the schedule has been with the midweek stuff. It's a spot play for me. So
no, I get it. The road form is atrocious right now, so I totally understand it.
Yes, sir. All righty. On to the next one, which is also a 2-unit play. And I mean, I wish I had like some constructive criticism to give some of these, but I like them. I'm right there with you, buddy.
So yeah, there's another 2-unit, and I'm just gonna fire on LAFC, both teams to score plus over 2.5. You can get that at -115 right now, depending on your book. Again, 2 units for me. We know this LAFC attack, right? They just hung 6 on San Jose. They're the 3rd best attack in terms of expected goals in the league. Do you want to know who's better by 0.2 of a goal? That would be Colorado. Surprising. Wow. Colorado is the best road offense in the league by almost 2 expected goals. So it's not even close. But they're also in the top 10 for most expected goals against. So it's just the perfect storm here for me, where I've got 2 great attacks, one attack that's definitely more leaky than the other. And this is hit in 3 of the last 4 road games for the Rapids. And we talked about the weather in Texas, right? Like that's why I'm a little hesitant on pulling the trigger for higher volume, or why I might be laying off some games entirely. The weather is going to be beautiful. So I've got 2 great attacks, 2 teams that are absolutely cooking. And yeah, I just, this price was just too good to be true. Not in a bad way. Like I do believe this comes home, not too good to be true to stay away. And so, yeah, I love this look. Hugo Lloris has not been good this season. He's a statue, really. And so I think Colorado are definitely going to get some opportunities. And yeah, LAFC could hang quite a few here as well. They just look like they're in that mode right now where they are hunting. So yeah, 2 units for me here.
Yeah, I like this one. Like I said, I mean, I threw out early in the game last year. Obviously, LAFC, beat the brakes off of San Jose. That game ended up 6-2. However, I did notice San Jose was finding some creases. They were finding some creases going the other direction. Like, no doubt about it. That popped off the screen at me. I sent it out. I said, if you can catch LAFC, San Jose, both teams have scored a reasonable price, fire at it. And I think LAFC scored like right after I sent that, and then it kind of got pricey. And then it was available later in the game. But yeah, LAFC, they are there to be had if depending on the opponent. And the Rapids have really gelled and come together this year in attack. I didn't have a lot of hope about 5 weeks into the season, but they're a whole different team now.
Navarro looks good. The Rapids are trying to work to make that loan permanent.
It's going to be expensive.
I think if that goes through, it will be a record signing for Colorado. Mihalovic is back to what's looking like himself. There was definitely like a lull there to start the season as you get acclimated again. But he's looking like he was in Vancouver, looking real good. So I mean, they're even getting stuff. They're even getting contributions out of like Calvin Harris and guys like that. Like it's just clicking for this team right now. And I love both of these attacks in this matchup.
Yep. Yes, sir. Okie doke. On to the next one. And this is going to be yours too. I've just got 2 for today. So this is on to your next 2 unit.
So we're going to do a 2-legger here. We had great luck with the 2-leggers last show. So we're going to do one here. I'm going to take the under in Houston at under 3.5 as they host Charlotte. And I'm going to combine it with Portland, both teams to score as Portland hosts Minnesota. And we're going to get plus 104. And I'm going to put 2 units on this one too. The Houston, it's funny. This Houston's has gone over this total in each of the last 5 games. It's kind of wild, actually. But again, we talked about Texas and the Heat. It's going to be scorching in Texas this weekend. You've got the best road defense in Charlotte coming to town. Both attacks are in the bottom 8 in the league from an expected goals point of view. And I love Charlotte. I really liked the plus 1.5 spread for Charlotte as a parlay piece, but that price has kind of drifted away from me as far as my comfort range. And the under 3.5 is a better price. And I'm okay with that here. So I'm going to take the better price of the under 3.5, throw it into Portland, both teams to score, which that leg is my favorite parlay leg of the weekend. If you're needing a parlay leg, that's the one that I'm choosing for the weekend. I imagine I'll have it in a couple of spots outside of this play here. But the last time these two met, there was an expected goal total of over 3.6. Portland missing key defensive pieces because of Copa. We've talked about it. Minnesota's missing some attacking players due to injury and international play. And I'm okay. I think it washes out, right? I think so. I think we'll break even here. Portland has had a couple of clean sheets recently. So I'm doing my homework, but both teams to score is still hitting at an 89% clip, and the defense is worse than the last time these two teams met. From a player standpoint. So yeah, I'm gonna fire on this for 2 units at plus money again.
Yeah. So I think it's just hilarious that this Dynamo team has been a dominant 9 away from being a borderline contender for a season and a half now, and they go and they went and got Ezekiel Ponce, Argentina striker from AEK Athens in the Greek Super League, and their designated player 9 Sebastian Ferreira scores a hat trick. He hasn't done anything in like a full year, and as soon as that
amazing what a little fuel will do.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's out, he's a foot out the door, but man, where has that been? Right. But yeah, I'm right there with you. Houston at home, even better defensively. Obviously that's been kind of one of their strengths is how well they play defense at home. Charlotte been an awesome defensive team all year. On the road, they're going to obviously be a little bit conservative. And then the Portland, Minnesota stuff is the both teams to score look there. Yeah, I mean it's just kind of a no-brainer. I mean it's a good look. Hopefully no more silly red cards for Minnesota to mess anything up for us. But yeah, no, I'm on board with this one. Let's see here. Is my only question would be what's going on? And I know you don't really care that much about Pookie, but wouldn't be a bad thing to have like an actual 9 up top for Minnesota.
No, he's hurt. I don't think you see him.
Okay. Yeah, Minnesota kind of let me down a little bit last week, but let's see here. Couple of and we'll run through the plays again at the end of the show. We kind of breezed through it. We had 6 official plays, including 3 2 units, and we're only 30 minutes into the show. So a couple of transfer rumors been floating around since the last time we got to discuss it. Kind of on the top of my head, I don't have a list written out, but off the top of my head, I think it was Callum Wilson from Newcastle being linked with Charlotte. So, okay, that was my question. So I know he's like 32.
Yeah,
but
he's 32. You're at that spot where you're gonna look for a payday. Newcastle is shopping for another striker. They were looking at Calvert-Lewin for a little while from Everton. They're looking at some other guys. Wilson, his times might be probably up in Newcastle. I mean, he can come to MLS. I'm sure he'll contribute, but it doesn't excite me. He's physical, but injuries are really playing a role in his career at this point in time.
Yeah.
At that age. And so I don't know how much he's going to be able to contribute, right? Like when you come from one physical league to another physical league and you get hurt, it's going to, you're just at 32, you don't heal the same. So he's welcome to come. Somebody might pay him. If Charlotte's linked with him, I'm not super surprised. Dean Smith, he's going to grab that talent when he thinks it's available. So it makes sense. It's just, it doesn't make me, get all excited.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those for me, just like bring him in, but don't overpay him. Like it's not one.
But that's the only way you get him.
Yeah. So for me, I mean, I'm kind of right there with you. Although I would love to see Charlotte with a legit striker. Like we've talked about. Don't let Charlotte.
They're taking swings. That was it the Uruguay kid?
Yeah.
I mean, he's moving on to Europe to bigger and better things, but like that's the kind of talent they're swinging at. So I dig that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Callum Wilson also linked with Atlanta United. All right, let's talk about the big one. Because at first we talked about it, we kind of chatted about it, threw it around in the Discord a little bit. No way, it's not going to happen right now, this or that. Everybody's kind of got their opinion. Weston McKennie, it seems to be a little bit more than just rumblings.
There's legit smoke there.
Yeah. Okay. There is legit smoke.
Well, yeah. Because
I didn't think that at first.
He's got a year left on his contract with Juventus. Juve's not going to re-sign him. So you want to move him. You want to get something for him, right? And so if 15 million, which is the rumored offer, is the going rate, then I think most MLS teams should take a shot. And I can't blame Weston McKennie if he comes to MLS because he's going to get paid probably more in MLS than he would get paid in European sides. He also hasn't been treated great in Europe, whether it's by the Leeds fans or the Juventus management. I mean, there's an interview where he talks about after they sent him on loan to Leeds, when he came back, he had lost his parking spot, his locker. Like, Juve had basically moved on. And then he comes, plays 34 games for Juventus this season, has 7 assists, leads the team in assists, and probably has, I think, his best season as a pro, period, anywhere. There's not a doubt in my mind this dude can play in any league in Europe, including the Premier League. So it comes down to, what does he want to do at 25, right? Do you want to do what's best for your career, or do you want to do what's best for your bank account? And I can't really knock going either direction. I will say, if he comes to MLS, you're absolutely going to see a downgrade in his play, at least on the international stage. That's just going to happen. It's just not on the same level that he's been playing at in Serie A and Premier League. So it's going to hurt, I think, his career if he comes, but I can't blame the dude if he wants to get the bag, because he's going to get the bag if he comes. I mean, this is why it was such a big deal when Clint Dempsey came back to Sounders, because these USA guys sell tickets in the USA. McKennie's not a ticket seller for a European side. He's a really good player, but he doesn't bring that added bonus of revenue. For any team in the MLS, he's going to bring a revenue bump, because people will come to see him. USA fans will come to see him. But no, there's smoke there. It's going to be very hard to work out. They don't have a DP spot right now. Bupenza is still on the roster. I don't know if they buy him out or if they try to move him. The problem is you can't move him because he's been to every league that kind of just gives anyone the bag already, with Turkey, China. I even think he spent some time in Saudi Arabia, or at least somewhere in the Middle East. And so it's going to be incredibly hard to move him. So we'll have to see how this plays out. But no, there's smoke there. I mean, there's legitimate interest on Cincy's side. From everything I'm reading, I just think if 15 million does it, if I'm in Bundesliga, if I'm in the Premier League, if I'm in La Liga, why am I not paying that to bring that dude into my team?
Right.
I don't, he should not be the best player on a team in one of the top leagues in Europe, but he can absolutely be a regular starter who contributes.
Well, no doubt about it. Yeah, I'm right there with you as far as his level of play and skills. Um, I selfishly want this to happen. To be honest with you, I want as many very good to great players in the world to come to this league. That's really all I care about. Obviously, I want our national team to excel as well. Um, I just think I'm maybe not weighing it quite as heavy. Like, oh, he's just going to fall off. His national play is going to just disintegrate. I think he'll be all right. And I also think it's something even for his career. It can be done where, hey, he's here through the World Cup and then he's back in Europe. He's only going to be, 27 years old. So I don't think that's out of the question either. I want it to happen. I mean, and maybe that's just because I'm looking at it just from an MLS perspective. But I mean,
I don't want USA's best players coming to MLS. When we did that last time, because all those USA players came back because they were getting paid more in the USA than they were in Europe. Guess who didn't qualify for the World Cup?
the league was also in a much different place though. Talent level across the board. It's gotten so much better.
Yeah, but it still isn't anywhere close to those top leagues in Europe. Like,
Yeah.
and that's why I mentioned his age, because that's such a key factor here. He's got time to come back to the MLS and still get paid. He doesn't have as much time to compete at the highest level in Europe.
Yeah, I can't argue that.
But again, I can't knock him if he takes the bag. I can't say I wouldn't do it if I was him. I might take the bag too, but I would like him not to do it.
not only is he taking the bag in that scenario, he's the star. He's the man. I mean, he's the
Well, if he comes to Cincy, then that's still Acosta's team. It's a 1A and 1B, but you're not taking an MVP's team away from him. That's not how that works.
I think he is. I think he becomes the face of that franchise.
He's not going to have as many assists. He's not going to score as many goals.
No, I'm not saying otherwise, but the way that it will be presented and the way that franchise is going to push him, it's going to be McKinney everything, dude.
Agree to disagree there, because I mean, Acosta is one of the best players in the league for a reason.
Oh, he's awesome.
He is now competing for back-to-back MVPs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I just think that the dollar signs, they have dollar signs in their eyes if they get him over here. But we'll see what ends up happening there. Let's see any other interesting ones.
Almada.
Oh yeah, that's done, right? He's been sold to the Eagle Group.
So this is interesting because Merlot is saying pretty much done. And it's Eagle Group. That's the team that owns Crystal Palace, Lyon, Botafogo in Brazil. That's the ownership of those teams. And they're saying Eagle Group because I'm not sure they know where they're going to put him yet if they get this deal across the line.
I don't want him to go to Brazil.
Brazil doesn't make any sense to me, but because I think he can play for Lyon right now. And I think he can make the bench for Crystal Palace right now. So like there's arguments to be had there. I don't know all the business insides and outs of why they want to stick him in Brazil for a little while if that's the route they're going. However, Atlanta beat writers are saying there's nothing going on here. But big reporters are saying, no, there's an offer. They are discussing it. And Almada's made it known he wants to go. And I think this is probably one of the best offers Atlanta's gotten so far.
Yeah.
And it's rumored around 20 million. While that might be disappointing to Atlanta, who's hoping to get 30 plus for him, I think they're losing some of their leverage here, and they might have to take a deal like this. Now, I don't know if that's best for Almada's career or what that looks like, because I think Brazil is I think you're just moving sideways at that point. I don't think you're actually improving anything.
Yeah.
But no, I'm gonna go with Merlot and these guys who are world renowned at this, and say like, yeah, I think there's something there because they're saying it is.
Yeah, I mean that's what it looked like to me. But yeah, I hope he at least avoids Brazil. That feels like a waste of however many years he goes there as far as his career trajectory.
And if there is something there, that makes the Atlanta-Toronto game super interesting. Like, because if the deal's close, I would not expect him to play.
Yeah, and then they got nothing.
And you're looking at an under 3 that's super playable, or a fat Toronto money line. You can almost get +1, Toronto +1 there.
Yeah.
Atlanta defense is fine. They're missing pieces because of international play. But yeah, it makes that game super interesting.
Another one that I saw come across the screen, which is interesting to me because I know who the guy is. I've seen him play. Is 20-year-old striker from Maccabi Tel Aviv in the Israeli Premier League. The best two teams in that club are Maccabi Tel Aviv and Maccabi Haifa. Those are the best two clubs, and they're a lot better than everybody else. I mean, by quite a bit. I mean, you've even seen Haifa play in Champions League, knockout stages at some point. I think last year. So the top of that league is formidable. This guy's good. I mean, he stood out to me, and he's 20 years old, and he started up top for Maccabi Tel Aviv, and now he's being linked with the Revs. So I don't know in what form they bring him in. I mean, I just don't know enough about, like, you don't see a ton of players developed in the Israeli Prim and like go to Europe. So like, I don't know if he's like on European radar or if it's just like an MLS thing, or is it going to have to be a DP and they're going to have to get rid of Regioni or not Regioni, the other guy, the other young guy that's their striker right now, that has been kind of so. But yeah, so that was an interesting one to me because I think if they get him on like a non-DP deal, I think it's a very savvy deal, and I think he comes in and is an improvement at striker right away.
The last player that I know of came from the Israeli league to MLS was Cohen, and he can't beat out Guzman in the goalkeeper position for Atlanta. That's not like scientific basis to like base this transfer on. I'm just like, the Israeli league doesn't impress me, especially because you have these two sides that are super top heavy, right?
Yeah.
And so the competition just isn't the same week in and week out.
That's a good point.
I'm going to hold all reservations here and be like, I'm not super impressed with this rumor. It doesn't do a lot for me, but maybe he comes in and proves me wrong. But we'll see. I mean, New England's turning it around, but I'm questioning Caleb Porter hard. I have no idea what he's trying to do with his team.
I don't know if New England. I think New England has had some very fortunate results in the last 3 or 4 games. I mean, they have some confidence, but I think they've been fortunate.
QT asked, why not take the under in the +1 now then? Because Toronto is not good on the road. I almost said something else. Toronto is not good on the road. And so I don't want to back Toronto if Almada's in, because he's starting to find his feet and he's looking better after a really slow start to the season. He's looking forward to the Olympics. I think he wants to get into form and go into that as he's going to be captaining the Olympics. And so, yeah, I'm not backing Toronto on the road here at a spread or an over, or the under. I will stay off this game if Almada's in, basically.
Man, you hit the nail on the head on the Brazil vibes in this Copa game. It's still 0-0 in the 82nd minute.
It's just teams just want to get through group play, man. No one wants to show other teeth. No one wants to show their hand. They just want to get through the games. You're seeing that in Euro and in Copa.
Yeah, today between Euros and Copa, there's been like 4 0-0s or something, and a 0-1.
Another game I want to mention and get your feedback on is Inter Miami opened up at plus 170 versus Nashville. Nashville is now a minus 110 favorite, and Miami is all the way up to plus 270.
I would not bet on Nashville.
Me neither.
I considered the under from a purely negative goal scoring regression standpoint for this Miami side that is without their stars. I just don't think that they're just going to continually pour in goals with the backups. I mean, not all backups, but with missing who they're missing. I don't think they're just going to pour in 2-3 goals every game. I think that that's going to regress at some point. I think the odds are fair enough in this game. I wouldn't blame anybody for wanting to back Miami, but I think the odds are fair enough. And the only direction I really even considered was a look at the under.
I don't know what to do with this Miami team. I mean, they're losing the expected goal battle, but still winning the games. They just beat the Crew. Like that's not a small win. Even on the road for the Crew, that's not a small win. Like
if they were playing, I mean, any of 20 other teams in Major League Soccer on the road, I would be fading Inter Miami in this spot. I'm just not gonna bet on Nashville.
It's just wild. I need those BJ Callahan rumors to go away.
Oh, I thought it was done.
No, man, nothing's done. But if he's the coach, y'all might not see me. Y'all might not see me for a while.
Yeah, that would be a miserable vanilla hire. I mean, that would just be.
It would be the least ambitious hire I've ever seen.
I don't know who's running these teams. I had a lot of respect for Nashville with the Hanny signing, but maybe they just got lucky. Maybe it was like a Driussi type signing.
You don't get lucky by signing one of the best players the league is ever going to see.
Well, what are they doing?
By the time his career is done, he'll be up there as one of the best players to ever grace this league.
I agree. I mean, I think he's already up there in that category, but what are they doing? Talking about bringing BJ Callahan as the new coach. I mean,
I'm not hearing it from the team, but I'm hearing it from like people around the team who cover the team, and they're just like, there's just too much smoke there for me. I'm not happy about it. Yeah. NYC versus Orlando. NYC was plus money when it opened, now minus 115. It feels like one of those get it now or don't touch it.
Goals. I think we're going to have goals in this one.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's 2.75. I mean, it's right where I would not play it if it got any more expensive. I wouldn't hate a 2.75, but I don't play a lot of 2.75 totals, to be honest with you. I just, unless I'm playing an under, I would wait 8-9 minutes and see if the 2.5's there, because I think this is probably a 2-1.
It's the only Friday match, which is nice that we have a Friday match, something to watch outside of the international play. But I did want to bring it up just because I find that movement interesting. You fading your Austin team this weekend? That line for KC opened up at minus 125 and it has not moved.
Could they have given me anybody else? Any other team that I could fade them with? I almost posted Sporting Kansas City first half team total over a half. Driussi will be back. He had a virus, so he was dealing with an illness, not an injury. Sporting Kansas City defensively, are they the worst in the league, or would that be
San Jose?
Yeah, see, I think Sporting Kansas City is actually worse defensively.
Well, I mean, not according to the stats. I get what you're saying, but
yeah, I think
this game has me so uncomfortable. Like we've talked about Sporting KC overs, right? They are the gift that keeps on giving. I'm not touching this game.
Austin is so lame on the road, the way they
I don't
play.
want any part of this game. This is one of the grossest games of the season.
Horrible game. I'm right there with you. And that's why I'm just passing on it.
All right, that's all I got.
All right, I got one before we clock out here. Very close to playing it. Still might play it. Tell me why. Why not bet Columbus? I mean, arguably the most well-rounded. I mean, they're right there with Inter Miami as the best team in the league. The Revs, yes, they've got a little streak going. It seems that they've turned a corner, but again, extremely fortunate results. They're still getting outplayed for the most part. I mean, the two teams are not even on the same planet. Why are we not playing like an Asian handicap with a partial push protection, or I mean, why are we not back in Columbus against the Revs?
I'm not saying we're not. No,
Okay.
I like Columbus. I think Columbus is going to go on a tear. The Miami loss was kind of shocking, but again, Road Crew just I don't love them. They actually are not bad this season compared to last season. Even when they won MLS Cup, they got hot at the right time in the playoffs to be able to win some of those road games. But no, I actually think that the plus 110, plus 115 is a nice price. I think this is a nice spot. I think you've got a hot New England side, and the Crew are just on a different level. And you're getting them here at plus money. I even don't hate let me see. Let me find out what it is first. Oh, it's right at the juice line. I'm okay with like if you're just a little nervous and you don't want that plus money line, take my favorite piece of Portland both teams to score and throw it in with the draw no bet and cover it and win a little bit if they draw, right? Like you'll cover the Portland both teams to score hopefully and push on the draw if for some reason he gets there. But no, I think the Crew are a good spot this weekend.
Argentina scored. Yeah, real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. I mean, look at this. Look at the Revs. Okay, 4 wins in a row, right? 2-1 at Nashville. Nashville 3.6 xG to 0.66, and they lost that game 1-2. All right. Revs back at home against the Red Bull. Outperformed again as far as XG and big chances slightly. New England at home against Vancouver. They did outperform Vancouver slightly in XG, but they're not. It's like they're creating like 0.9 XG, 1.01 XG. Then last week they go on the road, and again, Cincy 1.25 XG to 0.5 XG, and they get a 2-1 road win. Maybe they got a little confidence. Maybe they're feeling good, all that good stuff. But they're still the Revs. They're still the same Revs team that we've seen all season. And like we said, Columbus is just on a different planet. These two teams are different worlds. So
I mean, I've said it before. I've never seen a team play like Columbus plays in the MLS.
I love it.
I've never seen it.
I love it. And let's take advantage of it while it's here, because things come and go and seasons change. So somebody said that, some, Sheryl Crow or somebody, but, all righty. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in, and, thanks for joining us earlier in the week. This week, we wanted to make sure to get those plays out to you guys, because the lines will move. The lines moved a lot last week. They'll probably move a lot again this week. Make sure you guys like the video. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at MLSLIVE Podcast for recaps and content and all lots of extra fun, good stuff. So until next time, we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys. Best of luck.